Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula is expected today to announce the way forward on e-tolls. The organization Undoing Tax Abuse, that's Outa, says government has not realized the toll it's taken on the public. We join now via Skype by Outa's Wayne Duvenage. Wayne, good morning. Thank you very much for your time. Now, you, of course, as Outa, have been at the forefront of leading the charge historically against the e-tolls. What are you expecting, or do you have an inkling at all at this stage what Minister Mbalula is expected to tell the country about the e-tolls?
Well, if we go by the recent quotes that he's made to the media, then we believe that they're going to try and force or fudge the e-toll scheme, and how they do that, we don't know. So in other words, we don't believe they're going to scrap the e-toll matter. If they do, it will be a welcome surprise, because that is the only way forward on e-tolls, because they're not funding the bonds that they borrowed to widen this freeway network. And they certainly are just paying for a collection process, nothing else at this stage.
Now, have you as Outa been in any discussions at all since Fikile Mbalula took over the Transport Department?
Yes. So remember a little while ago, the President tasked the Transport Minister to find a solution to the e-toll impasse. That had to be done by the end of August. And because you have the standoff between province and national government, but what they had seemed to have forgotten is that there's a civil society matter here, and they kept on, as they have always done, by the way, ignored the will of the people in this matter. So I think he got the message. He did meet with us. He met with the AA. He was supposed to meet with Busa and others, but didn't get around to that. But nonetheless, they gave their submissions and views to him. And yes, so we have met with him, and we spelled it out very clearly. We've showed him why the scheme has failed, why it will continue to fail, and why you cannot be half pregnant on toll. You either fund these bonds through a toll collection mechanism, or you find an existing or another route to do so. And there are other ways to do it.
Now, as Outa, as we sit here today, you said, Ella, you don't believe that the minister will announce the scrapping of e-tolls, but they might come up with a different way of how they should be funded. But Outa's view is that they should be totally scrapped.
Tolling must be scrapped, absolutely. And because, as we've said, if the public are not participating, it's not an efficient or effective user pay scheme. And government keeps saying that user pays is the most efficient and the fairest way to fund these roads. Well, we've said to government, if that was the case, then you wouldn't have 20% compliance, you'd have 90% compliance if it was efficient. If it relies on e-notice in the postal system, it is inefficient. So don't tell us it's an efficient user pay scheme. This is not like electricity where you can switch the switch off if you don't pay your electricity. You cannot switch the freeways off, and if you cannot demonstrate that you can collect the money from those who don't pay, it is the most inefficient scheme in the world, quite frankly, from an e-tolling point of view. It's also not fair because you're double taxing Gauteng motorists. We pay our fuel levies, we pay our taxes. This is social infrastructure. So don't tell us to pay for e-toll routes when you've just upgraded freeways over a number of years in KZN, in eThekwini and Cape Town, and they don't have an e-tolling system.
So how do you pay back the money that's been used to do this work? What's
what you do is you pay it back through the existing mechanisms that have been here for decades. Treasury gives grants to SANRAL to finance, I think, 86% of SANRAL's roads are non-tolled roads. This is 186 kilometers, 1% of that. You finance it through exactly the same mechanism. Treasury grants, which is fed, by the way, from the fuel levy, which, by the way, 34% comes from Gauteng. The small province provides a big part of that fuel levy. So use the fuel levy contributions that we make as well to upgrade our social infrastructure. This is not an occasional road we take to KZN or Mpumalanga where you have to go through a couple of toll gates. This is the road we use daily. We get to work, we earn taxes, we pay our taxes to government to run this country. These are South Africa's roads, by the way, because 36% of this country's economy is driven through Gauteng, and so South Africa benefits from the productivity of this province. Don't ask us to pay another tax on top of the existing tax when the rest of the country doesn't pay an e-toll tax.
So, Wayne, we shouldn't hold much of our breath about the announcement on e-tolls from your perspective.
I don't think we should. As I said, the right decision is to scrap it and fund these roads through increases maybe in the fuel levy, although they've already increased that by so much. They've got the money. Sadly, the country is under a lot of financial pressure. So don't glibly use this user pays principle, because it doesn't work here on e-tolls. But yes, I do sense that they're not going to scrap it. That doesn't mean to say that we throw our hands in there. We are going to continue this fight, as we have continued for 7 years. And for SAMROL or the government to say, no, but we're going to keep e-tolls, the reality is you can keep what you like on e-tolls. It's not working. So keep the lights on, keep sending out the invoices. No one's paying. Actually, you're misleading the country when you're saying we're going to continue to toll the roads, because you're not tolling roads because no one's paying. So find another solution, or keep just paying the ETC company to collect the money so that they can pay their own salaries, because that's effectively what's happening. We will continue to fight this. We might have to work with the Labour and other entities to start more protest action.
Thank you very much, Wayne Duvenage. They're sticking to their guns. They're out saying e-tolls are not working. You must scrap them. We are, of course, waiting to hear what the new Transport Minister, Fikile Mbalula, will have to say about the matter.